It says initializing.
There we go. Hello, and welcome back to Command Protocols podcast. This is episode 12,
Well,
and we're
still here.
all the way, still living. We're all the way in April. We've had a little bit of a break, I guess. It was like a week again. Just trying to. We've been having a bit of a sit down, trying to think of stuff we're going to do going forward. More videos. So that'll be coming soon. I thought I'd quickly address that now that it is happening. As many times as I say it every week. How have you been, Andy?
I've been good, thank you. How about you?
I've been all right. I've been a bit ill today. I was actually off work, ill. I felt a bit under the weather, so I was like, just fucking chill.
So we could have done this hours ago, couldn't we?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but I wanted to chill out. I've watched like every film on my. I've got like a list of films I really wanted to watch by the look of them. I've watched nearly every film now, so I've been building and painting my Emperor's Children, or building them, I should say. So.
Well, before we go any further, there is an elephant in the room. We really want to know what this story is about Ophydian destroyers.
Oh, why I hate
Why
them?
they're so bad.
Oh yeah. Well, what was it that time? Oh yeah, it was against Jack Tight, who's a member of my new team War Masters. Fucking hell, I forgot.
You remembered the name
And
of it.
yeah, and I like, and I don't like them very much anyway.
Who's the new
They're just
team
so
or the Ophydian?
no, the Ophydians. They're so squishy, and I was playing against sisters. I was like, yeah, these will mince a sister squad. So I drop them in, like hit the 9-inch charge. And I'm like, perfect. Get into like this sacrosanct squad. It's not even a full squad at this point. It's like 5 models. I charge. I'm -1 to hit, so I'm just hitting on 4s. No rerolls. Wounding on 3s because it's -1 to be wounded, and then I killed 3 models maybe.
So
Then he's got two.
winning
He's
on
got two.
fours, right? -1 to be wounded.
At least, yeah, sorry, yeah, because they're not
4.
strength 7.
Strength 4.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. So it's even worse. So it's hitting on 4s, wounding on 4s, and I was like, oh. And he then lost like 2 or 3 models. So he had 2 sacrosants left and the hospitaller, and I also managed to tag a immolator, and then a castigator, sorry, and then he hit me with the 2 models and the hospitaller, and killed 2 Ophydians and put 1 down to a wound, and then the castigator just bonked it and killed it. I was like, this is literally the shittest unit ever.
Mm-hmm.
And he just brought it back to life. I was like, what is the point of this? Like, I can't even kill 5 sisters. And I understand that it probably wasn't the best idea, but them just not being able to deep strike, like rapid ingress, or like not being able to stay in reserves, I just hate it so much.
I mean, you want a unit's rapid ingress as a threat, but they're not a threat.
They're not even a threat. They're threatening to what? Strength 4. Strength 4, 4 up save. I was like, yeah, he's like, it's AP2. You're on 6s. I was like, what? What am I doing? Like, I mean, how am I the same toughness as a flayed one? By the way, a flayed one is tiny compared to an Ophydian. I could rant about this all day, but
No, they're toughness 5, not 4.
it's 4 up save.
But yeah, 4 up save.
That was the problem. It's 4 up save.
So 15 attack sounds a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah,
but
really cool.
Isn't. And I assume you pop your dev wounds, but because
yeah,
you're hitting on 4s, you only get in 7 or 8 hits, and
yeah, it was terrible. Yeah. It was absolutely abysmal. And he's got 4 of inborn. I was like, well, I was hoping to kill 5 sister bodies, but apparently not. My own mistake.
Nope.
Yeah, it was. I played them in another game against Eldar. It was one of the French guys from No Name, and I literally had to sacrifice the first turn just so he wouldn't Yanari move onto the center objective. I had to just put them there on the center objective. I even drew cleanse, and I couldn't cleanse because he could have just moved, and then I wouldn't be able to charge him. So I was just like, right, well, yeah, go fuck myself, I guess. That I just had to sacrifice 80 points just to stop him from getting primary.
You need to think of Ophydians as a unit with no offensive power. They have no attacks
They're
in
just
melee
3
or
men.
shooting. They're just 3 guys with bodies, and that's it.
Yeah.
If you try and use them any other way, you'll always regret it. They're just
They're
like
just-
80 points uppy downy, but that's not even that good.
Why are they strength 4? Why are they strength 4?
Why have they got no keywords?
Why are they strength 4, man?
Where's the
What?
twin links, you know?
How are they the same strength as a flayed one? They've got like the giant, the giant weapons. They're huge.
Big size,
They're
yeah.
the same weapons as Scorpeth. Why is a Scorpeth 3 strength higher?
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, yeah, that's my rant over. But
Wow.
I forgot to rant last time, and
Yeah.
you've lit a fire up in me again.
We were all wondering, including myself, like, what is it that's really...
People keep taking them in lists.
Yeah.
I don't understand, and then they're like, "Why? Why are they so? They're not so bad." Yeah, they are actually.
Mm.
They are. I just there's 80 points I'd put into anything else.
It's 80 points that keeps them screening, I guess, until they realise actually maybe they don't really care. Like, yes, you can come down and get some secondaries, and then they just die. But
they're the same price as a
it.
Scorpeth Lord, and a Scorpeth Lord is 10 times the model. 10 times. Toughness 7, 7 wounds, 4 up in 1. Strength 10. Mortal wounds. Ugh.
Mm.
I'd rather just a solo Scorpeth Lord in any detachment than Ophydians. Like, horrible.
Yeah.
The hardest, like the biggest nerf for a Scorpeth Lord is the fact that you can't buy it by itself. That's the biggest nerf.
Yeah. Well, maybe one day we'll find somebody who can give us a really good argument as to why they're really good.
Yeah, somebody can tell me why. If you can prove to me why Ophydians, are actually worth taking, then I'll listen to you.
There you go, everybody. Try and snipe Matt in a game on TTS and bring 3 squads of Ophydians and beat him.
Yeah, I'll laugh at you. I'll be like, "Why are you?" I was like, "You're playing with 240 points."
In fact, I think this could be an amendment to your punishment. You have to run 3 squads of Ophydians in your Annihilation Legion list.
I do not own 3 squads of Ophydians because I'm not a psychopath. You're
Well,
lucky that I own 1.
I have 2, so I'll lend you.
I have 2, and I bought them in 9th edition when they were better. And they looked cool. I was like, yeah, this is a cool... It's like the Psychomancer. I will be trying it out more. I've just not been brave enough yet to actually commit to trying it.
I've not committed to buying one yet.
I've got one. I do have one. Just one. I got it really cheap at Murfield Miniatures. Like, if you don't know what it is, it's like he just sells like second-hand Warhammer for really cheap.
That
really
was cheap, right? No.
Yeah, it was fucking super cheap. But right, yeah, we had a pretty good week, didn't we? With Necrons, we had a pretty damn good week.
We've gone from about 5 weeks of mediocrity to back on top, basically.
Let's get it straight in. Boom! Look at that. We are the second best. Wow, Imperial Agent. We are the best. Okay, Imperial Agents. Imperial Agents don't count with 1 player. We are the top dogs for some reason. Somehow, I don't have to actually scroll to see what these bars mean this time. I can actually just see it. That's how long it's been. I don't think since we've done the podcast, I've like not had to scroll.
Yeah,
my two favorite factions sat at the top.
We just had a good week, basically.
We just had a good week, and I didn't play, so that's probably why.
That's probably why. Yeah. I mean, you can ignore the top 3 of our detachments because it's basically 5 players out of 50.
Yeah, it's not too many. Canoptic Core, somebody still loves that faction dearly. But you've got to remember that 67% win rate is 3 wins, more or less, isn't it?
It's two wins out of 3, basically.
60?
7.
Oh, out of 3, yeah.
Matt, we did this last time, just don't try and do maths.
Yeah, I'm actually quite good at maths. It's embarrassing. I did it yesterday.
Yeah. So like that Annihilation Legion looks really strong at 60%, but somebody went 3 and 2, which is, not fantastic if you're looking at it from a competitive point of view. But
yeah, this is I didn't actually know that he took RTTs on board. So this guy obviously went 2 and 1 at an RTT.
Well, I mean, we must have missed the Meta Monday when my 100% Annihilation Legion record.
Yeah, they just didn't want you to change the stats too much.
Yeah, I didn't want to ruin it. Like, it's OP.
I've got mine this week. We need to make a list.
We
together.
Do. About 3 not on Ophydians.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it not on stream because nobody wants to see us make another fucking list for a dead faction.
Pointless faction, yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna run like
3
your
squads of
list.
Ophydians.
No, I don't have that.
2
I don't
squads.
have that.
1
No,
squad of
they're not
6.
ready. They're not ready.
One squad of 6.
It's painted score, and it's not. I'm not going to get it ready in time. I'm not putting time and effort to painting that. That's like that would be more of a punishment than playing Annihilation Legion.
Fair
If
enough.
you just punished me saying paint 6 Ophidians, they're getting shelved till 11th edition, unless they go down to 60 points for a
Unless they get a
unit.
glow up. Yeah.
If they go to 60 points for a unit, or they just change the rules slightly where they can stay in reserve, that would be lovely.
Yeah, so no surprise, Mordak has still got a big win rate.
Mordak is good, but clearly somebody out there is
the rest of the orcs
just
are rubbish.
terrible. How many players? Players 41.
On Mordak.
Wins. Yeah, I'm just having a look. 100. So they had 60. What, 66?
63%. It says it on the left there.
No, not the percent. 66 losses. But I've probably miscounted that as well.
74.
Yeah, I have. So it's more than that. Yeah, we'll just cancel the math. So it's not my day. Yeah, so they've rarely anybody's losing. People that are losing, I don't know how, but I guess it's mirrors potentially. I don't know if he includes mirrors in this. I think he does. Yeah, Star Shatter's still doing okay, still decent. I think Star Shatter's pretty good. Probably gonna. I'm getting a bit bored of Awakened, so.
No, I mean, the previous 2 weeks, Awakened's been 50%, and Star Shatter has been 52 and 49, and it's not a big change to go up to 56, 57. It's only like 3 or 4 players go from a 2-3 to a 3-2 probably.
Yeah, I mean, we've got what?
Hypercrypt is languishing, so we need to buff those numbers, man.
Yeah, let's get on Hypercrypt instead. Hypercrypt's still good. It's just the Vault is the reason that Hypercrypt's good, in my opinion.
And Mordaka is just too hostile.
And on UKTC especially.
Yeah.
Too hostile?
Well, they just kill it too quickly.
The meta, yeah.
No, just that one particular army. The rest of the meta's fine. Like, if you look at Grey Knights Drakari, I'd be very happy to play with my Hyperlisten to either of those. And I have done in the past. And same with Imperial Knights, Imperial Agents, who are obviously sitting on top. Still high.
Well, it's the one guy that won 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
That's literally it. That's how you can get the top of the meta. Just be the only person in the entire world on a weekend to play that.
Yeah, and in general, it's not bad against orcs either. Just the Daka.
Well, Innis was talking about somebody's taking Imperial Agents in his team comp, where they've got it's like some absolute bullshit infantry spam where they all have a 4 up invuln and then some of them have a 5 up Fiona Pain.
And nobody knows what they do, and they just go.
Yeah, that's always the problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's a teams event as well, so there's always going to be, an army or two in the teams that can't deal with that kind of infantry spam because they need out to play against, stat check.
Not used to it.
And just
people play building for the meta, and they're always like it's the same with Olivier with his Black Templar horde at WTC last year. Like, nobody was building to tech for that, even though it did exist because Ed Watts played it many times, and then Olivier took it, and nobody could play against it.
Yeah, but it's how many people own that army and are willing to play that army beforehand. So.
Yeah. They knew exactly. They practiced it obviously big time. They knew it was the right choice. It is still pretty good. I watched it yesterday where there's like a combo in the squad where you can have a jump captain with this relic, and then you swap your vow, and then you basically get like sustained 5s with this whole squad, and it just wrecks face. Yeah, it's pretty nasty.
So what that does mean is Necron's doing quite so well.
We can actually talk about some lists.
We have some lists to talk about.
And what is the first one? Is this Walter?
Yes, this is Walter.
Boom. Warzone Tucker Brewing. Don't know if Tucker is brewing something up or. He's got HN candidate. Terrible list name. Come on, mate. Sort it out.
I mean, it's better than the list name that I had, which didn't appear. But we'll talk about
just like the rest.
We'll talk about the reasons for that later.
So we finally got a 5-0 for the first time in quite a while. Beat Imperial Knights again, but But we'll talk about the list first before we
It's
divulge.
spicy.
So, Hexmark, Imatech, Overlord, and as I mentioned earlier, that I want to try, he's got triple Psychomancer, and there we go.
Running solo as well. That class,
Yeah,
toughness 4 wounds, 4 up save, movement 5 guy.
just hiding behind. He's just a little action monkey. He's
one
basically just a
shot.
heavy destroyer. Like he's just a heavy destroyer with no gun and weaker.
And weaker and slower and
Yeah.
uglier.
But he can advance and exist, I guess. Yeah, and then triple Scorpeth Lord, respectable.
Yeah.
Psychomancer, so he's probably gone for Wraiths. There you go, Wraiths. So he's gone for the Wraith package.
But no Crypto Thralls.
No Thralls, so no Call the Horde denial, which I am actually addicted to, like with the Warriors. Just having that. Just addicted. Yeah, just like Call the Horde. Just like, yep, can't
every time someone drew it and they were like, oh, Call the Horde, sweet. I'll just like, no, sorry, you can score that with the Warriors.
No, I have 20 models here.
The look of like a pole. No,
yeah, they draw Mark for Death and Call the Horde, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna pick the Warriors twice, mate, because I'm that confident you won't kill them. Lich 5 Lich Guard, 5 Lich Guard, so that's going to be with the Solo Lord
and
Imatech, which is like a little skirmishy unit. Give +1 AP.
They're quite. I mean, it's quite tough, but then once you add the Lord, it becomes quite expensive. Like 100, it's 170 points.
Yeah, it's a reasonable amount.
And then triple Scorpeth. Well, yeah, but 170 points is Scorpeth.
Ooh, triple Scorpeth with no Plasmancers. Bloody hell, I hope you weren't playing Plasmancers, mate.
Plasmacytes, yeah.
No fucking war gear.
Hey, don't take the piss out of people with no war gear.
No war
anyway,
gear.
so yeah,
it's just a true. It's a cool list. It's the Psychomancer. I don't know. Custodians, I can't imagine they're very useful. Orcs, I can imagine it is very useful because they've got low.
I mean, it's round 1, right? Shit. So might be the easiest game. And then if you could just stick 3 Psychomancers.
Imperial Knights might be quite good
near the center and just be like, you take a battle shot or you pass. Okay, you take a. So realistically, you're spending 165 points to battle shot 1 unit, which could be a key unit that you want to battle shot. But I could imagine.
I think it'd be quite good into Imperial Knights because if they fail, then they're just like, 0 OC, no rotate, anything like that.
Yeah, but then there's no guns.
Yeah.
There's 2 Doomsday Arcs. Yeah. There's 2 Doomsday Arcs, which
there's 2 Doomsday Arcs.
Trust me,
yes.
2 Doomsday Arcs.
It's all right. I think he's done well. Like fucking hats off to him. I'm gonna try it for sure.
Try it.
Now all you're missing, mate, is triple Warrior, triple Ghost Arc, and then that's the
with the Psychomancer, because the Ghost Arc gets
with the Psychomancer
gets the Psychomancer into all of the positions where he can hide and just do his duty on all the flank objectives. Like in Command Court, it'll be okay because all of a sudden, you're getting +1 to hit and wound for the rest of your army when one of them dies. And do you really want to spend one of your precious CPs to get one of your Psychomancers back up when you've got other characters? I mean, let's also note here that there is no Illuminated Serras in this list, which in Awakened I feel like is a war crime. He's just so good, right? In this detachment, you're getting so much value.
Well, I feel like Imatech isn't really needed if you have. Like if you've got the Overlord and you don't have Warriors, Imatech's probably not going to be that important. I probably would get rid of Imatech and some Lich Guard and then put Zeraz in. But that would be me.
The Psychomancers doing their ability and then doing a cleanse or recover assets is nice, but they're just so weak and easy to kill that I would always be scared, no matter where they were on the board, of having them do actions because they're just so simple to take out. 1 Plagueburst Crawler, 1 Basilisk, it's just dead, right? But no, I know he went to Worlds with. I mean, he was playing single Locust Destroyers with the 5-up Feel No Pain, and he did well there as well. So he's clearly onto something, but I don't I don't know if
I've heard about this Walter guy. I do recognise his name. That he's quite.
he's been doing this a while.
And he's been popular. He has been running Psychomancers for a while. I feel like I do recognise his name.
And he does put up some really good results, but that could just be the player skill rather than the list, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, if he enjoys them,
Yeah,
I can see the play with them. I can see the point of taking them on the right terrain. You can hide quite a lot easier.
just imagine the results he put in if he was playing an amazing list instead of.
I mean, this is his play style, probably.
Yeah.
All right, we'll jump on to the next one.
Yeah.
We've got a second 5-0 in.
Yeah.
It's the same week. We're just getting spoiled today.
Another event win as well. So,
and it's fucking A.
and it's
Awakened.
Awakened.
Awaken the dragon. And let me guess, he's got a dragon. He doesn't have a dragon. Okay, well, I got that put in my place. He beat the mirror. He beat demons twice. He beat Chaos Knights, which is a pretty hard game, and Space Marines.
Ophydian destroyers.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. We'll ask him about that when I speak to him. But
he just didn't have 5 points to get some score pass. That's all it is.
Maybe.
He's got double hex. He's got a hex mark with Veil of Darkness.
I mean, I like that tech. I do like that tech. Especially
why have you got Ophydians then, brother?
Especially when he can get back up. Like sometimes your character with the veil dies and you're like crap, but he can get back up. Or you use the veil and you bring him down.
Yeah,
and he
he's
gets
got Oracle and the Royal Warden.
But,
he's got solo Imatech, just how it should be, in my opinion. I think he's only got 2 Scorpeth Lords though, so it might be I own it differential.
Yeah.
Warriors, no Ghost Arc, so he's got quite a half cooked fucking version of everything. I feel as soon as those warriors get battle shocked, you ain't resin for shit. So the Ghost Arc being there really helps. That's why I run.
Well, he's got the.
Yeah, but the Warden does it at the top of the phase. So if they get battle shocked in the shooting phase by something, which does happen, then
yeah, it does happen.
That's it. You're just screwed. There are ways of doing it. So the Ghost Arc just allows it, just gives you an extra res a turn. I mean, res 4 2d3.
Well, he did say about the Ophidians that he wants to put the 3rd unit in instead because while they were okay, they didn't do anything. They never scored. But just one game, he stole his opponent's home objective on Lynch.
Is that what he said?
Yeah.
There you go. See, so even he knows, guys, that Ophidians are only there because he didn't have 5 points.
I think they mostly spent their games screening, and
that's pretty much
for the same footprint. You can get 3 scarabs for 40 points, and then have 40 points spare.
You could have 2 units screening your entire backfield.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
baller, or one big scope and one big scarab unit.
But similar list to what we see now. 2 Flayed One squads is never a bad thing. But one with the 2 Omnitics, I'm not convinced about. I think they should be Gauss in this list, but that's just me. I feel
really depends what you. I mean, against the stuff he played against, the demons they would be quite useful. The Omnitics,
but the Gauss would be as well. If you get against the big demons, the Omnitics don't do much against Be'lakor or Chaos Knights. And the space.
You don't do much against Be'lakor anyway, because you'd just be like, when are you going to get within 18 inches of him that often?
By the time he's charged you and he's sat in combat with stuff, or I mean, if I was playing against Be'lakor, I would charge my warriors into Be'lakor at the first sign.
Yeah,
just
that's what I did.
Down, but then I've still got my big destroyers to shoot at him because they can shoot into combat.
Yep. So, he's done all right.
Yeah.
Good job on him again.
Congratulations to Ian.
Let's go in the next tab.
The same event, a different
event, but not as good because he lost to Mordaka. Get absolutely punished, kid. Awakened. And I'm already looking at the enhancements, and he doesn't have the 4 at Fiona Pain.
No.
Imagine if you had the 4 at Fiona Pain against Mordaka Orcs.
Yeah, and imagine if he took Illuminator Sarahs as well.
No Sarahs either. He's got the Nightbringer, so
can't get back up in ever. Yeah.
No, so he's just chilling. He's got the Plasmancer with the Veil.
with
That's going to be going with the
immortals.
immortals there. So lethaling to death. Triple score path is that? No, double. Only double.
Double, but you'll see why later on.
God, the shards cost so much money, man. Well, not money, points. It costs so many points. The Nightbringer.
Yeah,
What? This is a really weird layout.
yeah,
1-1-1-1. That looks strange.
yeah.
6 wraiths, 5 death marks. Yeah, they can go in the bin. Double doomsday,
Hmm.
double single destroyer, 6 Scorpeth, 6 Scorpeths.
Yeah. So,
Now I'm kind of like that's quite cool, but is it the best use of a Scorpeth Lord? I suppose.
well,
It's a
he
lot.
must have been playing on some pretty dense terrain to be able to hide.
Yeah, that is a big footprint.
That is a very big footprint.
I always remember in ninth edition when I was playing 18 Scorpeths, like
Mm.
how difficult it was to hide. And there was no
Yeah,
rapid ingress back then. So you can't just like bring one in. You have to like bang a 9-inch charge from the edge of the board or just hope you play on terrain where you can hide 18 50 mil bases. Or
yeah.
I think they're 50 mil, aren't they?
Uh,
Yeah, they are, yeah.
don't know, but
So yeah, he's clearly playing on some pretty dense terrain. He's
I
put Plasma Sight. Yeah.
I too have 18 Scorpet destroyers, but yeah,
Yeah.
I mean
Love
those are the
them.
days when you ran them and you get looking at the Scorpet Lord thinking, is this guy actually worth it with 18? And it's like, nope.
No, just the Scorpiods were good by themselves.
Yeah, they were.
So yeah, he's gone for like a bit of a mixed bag, very combat heavy.
Hmm.
He's obviously only got really the double DDAs. He's got Death Mark for scoring,
And he's
and
got
he's
the
just got
Nightbringer
like a
to
little bit, and he's got the Nightbringer
get himself
to
out of trouble. Really, that's about
yeah,
it.
and then Immortals to a little bit of Immortals. I feel like he would really struggle into Horde, but it depends what I guess he
I mean,
plays against.
he beat Biocentric.
That's not Horde. That's just lots
But it's
of.
lots of little guys, pretty much horde,
It's not
right?
like proper Horde though. Horde's like Host of Ascension or um,
I mean, the
the Chaos Space Marine
wraiths are
cult.
actually pretty good at clearing up hordes because they can shoot in combat, and they've got decent amount of actual attacks that are good into horde because of the horde profiles.
He
Usually
won
keep
the
it.
Necron Mirror. Let's see what this Necron Mirror was playing. Awakened as well. God, what a nightmare! But the guy was playing 20 warriors. That's quite interesting that he lost to that.
Well, he had he had the Catan advantage because the guy was playing the Void Dragon instead of the Nightbringer.
Yeah, it's not
But he
too.
did have Seraz,
He had
so
warriors that don't die to anything in this army unless you like just allow yourself to, unless you misplay them basically without like don't string them properly.
I mean, if you manage to get them bogged down with the wraiths, the warriors, right, and then they just kind of sat there, and then you swoop in with the both squads of Scorpet destroyers. There's enough attacks there to chew through the reanimations.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you can get your hands on him, I think
Yeah,
if you can like stage up close enough to where he's held his characters and stuff, there is definitely potential for that to happen. But I feel like it's the Awakened player's mistake or the Warrior player's mistake to like allow that to happen.
the warrior player was also playing race and only had one Doomsday Axe, so he didn't. I mean, he did have the 3 amnitic. Oh yeah, 1 amnitic
Yeah,
twice.
I
So
think I'd prefer. It really depends on the terrain, right? Doesn't it?
to be
It's
honest, I would prefer the first list with the 12 Scorpets than
score
the second
pass.
one because it's got 2 Doomsday Arcs, so there's actual
Yeah,
hammer
it's got a
units
lot
there,
more damage.
a lot more
Yeah,
damage. Whereas the other one is just, yeah, you've got the Void Dragon, but you've got the Nightbringer that just deals with the Void Dragon.
yeah, yeah. You
So
got to know that, like, yeah, that Nightbringer is never going to die, and it won't get bogged down by the warriors either,
mm,
because you can send like the Nightbringer and the Scorpeth in. And
yeah,
how many attacks is the Scorpeth squad got? Is it 24
24
plus
plus
character,
the
which is
character,
8,
another 8.
so 32, and then mortal wounds, all hitting on 2s. You're all in, winning on 3s.
With Deathwings too, which also
Yeah, which
might
is
matter.
decent. So yeah, it's like if the Nightbringer, because the Nightbringer won't be able to get bogged down, and then I feel like the other Awakened player doesn't actually have enough to deal with all of that stuff.
And also, you don't mind charging your Scorpet Destroyers into Wraiths, actually.
No, not at all.
Unless he
They
pops the
will.
Strat for the Strength 7 AP2, and then they might be in a bit of trouble. But
Yeah.
Scorpex will eat enough Wraiths that they may even have to pull out of combat and they don't even get to hit back at all. That's the...
Yeah. And also the race, if you position them on the objective fully, then the Warriors are going to struggle to get on there as well.
Yeah, and let's not forget he's also got Near Mortal with the Plasmonster, so like if the
That would do well
if the
into the
Void
void.
Dragon sits on an objective, yeah, he's still winning on sixes, but there's got to be enough attacks there.
There's a lot of
And,
lethals.
and the Plasmancer. Oh, because was he playing?
It's Gauss, yeah.
Gauss, yes.
That's why I was saying, so it's actually going to be okay because it's it's going to be a lot of lethals there.
Yeah.
If you do the re-roll and hits,
and there's still going to be a reasonable conversion of the wounds when you get the rerolls. Be like what, 1 in 3.
Yeah,
just not too.
yeah. I
shabby.
think I mean, I love Scorpeths. They're like one of my favorite models in the whole army. So it's cool to see him running 12 like that.
We could never play them in UKTC though.
No, it's so hard to hide. That's the real downside.
Maybe one of them in the Super L in the centre, but then there's usually things you want to put there instead.
Yeah, that's like home to Ghost Ark / Warriors. Nice. Right, let's jump straight into the next one.
So the next one is
Danny. Yeah, so this is a friend of mine and Andy, and we and he is also on War Masters as well. And so he was chatting to me, wanting to play Awakened because he's been playing Double Vault, which is why his title, What's Better Than One Vault? Awakened Dynasty, apparently. And I was chatting to him. He made like a list. He was playing Lich Guard and Warriors, but he was playing like the Overlord, and I was like, no. Like this is what he needs.
You are now a Royal Warden.
He only wanted to run 1 DDA, but yeah, and I was like, I can't believe it took me this long to see the light. Royal Warden is just better than the Overlord night and day. Like, just not even close. 100% better. I was a fool to wait so long to change it. So, yeah, I helped him out with this list, and he made some last minute changes, I think. But then afterwards, he messaged me saying that he probably would just change it back. And I like this list a lot. It's just, I think it's a lot more rounded, but it's just got less guns because it only has 1 DDA. So
I do think
Zeraz, as it should be in Awakened. Don't play Awakened without Zeraz.
Yeah,
it's just so good. Imitek, who sits at the backfield on his own and gives you CP, because if you don't play the Overlord, you do need the extra CP. Orican for the Invuln, obviously. Locust Lord, who goes with the heavies, the mythics. He's got the Veil. It's like an alternate version of the Immortals, with just more damage. Royal Warden with the stealth. Triple squid there, if you want to pay. 20 Warriors. Thralls for the
with the Warriors.
Like,
Matt, you seem
Thralls are really good if you don't play the
you have
Overlord
a lot of trouble.
As well. I know
Matt, you have a lot of trouble with your internet there. It would appear so.
Yeah, is it all right now?
No, I'll carry on for you while you sort your crap out.
Is it good?
We'll see. Carry on then.
Is it good now? Are we back? Are we back in business? I just have terrible internet.
You do. You sort it out. But yeah, so three lots of Scorpet Destroyers though.
Go on, I'll let you read it off then.
Oh, and then 2 single Destroyers for actions, and normally would hold your home objective, but in this case he's got Imotech for that, so they'll probably just be pushing out early just to be annoying. And then a Reanimator and 1 Doomsday Ark and a Ghost Ark for the usual reanimation shenanigans. So yeah, this list is very similar to mine, but it also has like those little differences as well. So it has the Omnitics, and it has the extra Scorpex and 1 less Doomsday Ark. But yeah, he did really well. Made it to the last round.
Yeah, I think he said that he wanted to change. So he changed. He had two locust destroyers instead of a hex mark. I put a hex mark in, but he changed it for two single destroyers. So I think that he put the hex mark back in, and I would personally as well. But
Yeah, I still like the single destroyers because you still want something cheap just to throw out at the start to do, like a cleanse, or because movement 8 is quite often enough to get you onto most objectives on the flanks on our terrain that we play, and they can also do containment, and then if they get shot, you're not really that bothered most of the time. But the hex mark is really strong as well. So yeah, very classic Awaken list, very similar to what we've been playing, and obviously has a bit of your input as well. Although at the time when I was speaking to him in Sheffield, he didn't admit to that, and I was surprised to see him playing
yeah,
Awakened as well. I know he likes the vault like I do, but he likes
yeah,
so much more. He plays 2, which is just crazy. Maniac, you're a maniac, Dan. But I was also
yeah.
rooting
He
for
did
him.
really, really well. He went all the way.
I was hoping that he'd win. I was hoping that he'd get his golden ticket for this year's World Championships because he had one for last year, but he had a lot of problems with his flights and ended up missing the tournament, unfortunately. So it'd be cool to see him back there. Well, there this year,
Mm-hmm.
but next time. And there was also some really, really good players at the top there. So it was never going to be easy. Okay, and then the next list.
Do you want to jump onto the next list?
Yeah, can do. Have you got it? Yeah. Another
Yeah, it's
awakened
up.
list. Another awakened list. And why did we want to talk about this one? What was the? Did you go?
Went 5-0.
That's why we wanted to talk about it because another 5-0. I don't think he won this event though. Nope, he did win. 27 player event. Classic. This one's got 2 hex marks though, so probably using them similar to how I would use the destroyers, but just less capability for the opponent to kill them.
Yeah, he's got another Veil of Darkness hex mark as well.
I gotta love that tech. It's so cheeky. It is so cheeky, but this doesn't make them very expensive for what they are.
He's running the Overlord, but he doesn't have Imotech, so I guess having the Silent King is really expensive.
I mean, I'll be honest. I kind of want the Overlord and Nemotech sometimes. There was so many games where I just never had enough CP for all the things I wanted to do. And I'd be looking at 5 CP and I'd be going, I really need one more.
Yeah, why do Space Marines get 30 a game when we don't?
Yeah. I mean, if the Silent King had that ability like Gilliman,
That would be so broken.
and the Swarm, is it the Swarm Lord? Or no, the Hive Tyrant.
Yeah.
If he had that ability as well, I think that would be nice. Just a nice addition. No need to put his points up.
Yeah, it's a little no. Yeah, just keep him as is and ignore mods all the time and
you know what? Picking 2 like Gilliman would be insanely good. I would be picking +1 strength, reroll charges, almost never, but it would come up. It's secretly +1 to wound sometimes. So
we can jump straight into the next one then, because that one was not as intricate. This one, another Awakened. Guess what? Everyone's only winning with Awakened.
Yeah, but this one's got 3 Plasmancers, and if you look further down, 40 Warriors and 5 Immortals. So not going for the classic, I'm going to keep these Warriors alive because there's no Reanimator, there's no Ghost Arc. There is 6 Wraiths and 2 Canoptech Doomstalkers, which makes me wonder why this is in Awakened Dynasty and just not in Canoptech Court. Yes, getting Illuminated Ceros up is really nice, but having full rerolls to hit on your Plasmancer, Immortal, and Warrior squads, and your Doomstalkers, and your Wraiths. Surely that's just better, right? No?
Yeah, it's such a strange combination. I mean, yeah, it just looks like it should be a Canoptic Court list, but it's in Awakened.
I mean, Plasmancers are nice, but I wouldn't go 20 Warriors plus a Plasmancer in Awakened because
it's so slow.
It's slow. The range is short as well, and you've got no delivery method. Like when you're using Warriors, you can use their death and reanimation as a strategy to gain 5-6 inches a turn in some cases. But in this case, you kind of don't want your Warriors to die because they're just not reanimating as much. Even with the strat, it's just not a lot. And 2 Doomstalkers as well. Maybe this is just like a what I own army kind of thing, but
there's lots of Warriors.
He's just a good player, and then he played into people who didn't know how to deal with 40 Warriors. But
I'm gonna guess that he played into Invasion Fleet Tyranids. Look at that, he lost to Invasion Fleet Tyranids.
Yeah,
because they just choose sustained and go goodbye, and then his whole army doesn't exist.
Yeah. Like there's no defensive buffs for the Warriors at all. Like there's no stealth.
The guy had 33 Neurogaunts randomly.
What?
Yeah.
Who even owns that many?
The Tyranid player that he lost into.
Wow.
Yeah, so he just had like a crazy weird list.
But
triple rupture effects.
Triple rupture effects. Like if there ever was going to be a matchup where I would be happy going into triple rupture effects is when I've got 40 Warriors. But in this case,
probably just shoves them forward and it's like, you can't kill me.
Yeah, but then he does kill him. But
eventually.
Anyway, so yeah. 4-1 though. Still good, like,
Yeah, it's just funny. There's cool to see Doomstalkers. It's in 40 Warriors randomly. This is another 4-1. Bob Matic, I want to say. Matic. Wakey, Eggs and Bakey. It's Awakened Dynasty.
Yeah, with the Void Dragon, so 5 points missing somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, he's 19. His list is 1990, so he could have put the Nightbringer in, but he chose the Void Dragon.
Well, but this one's different,
and he lost to Imperial Knights, which is the thing that the Void Dragon is arguably the best into.
No, the Nightbringer is still better into Imperial Knights than the Void Dragon.
He wins on 2s, and it's D6 plus 2 damage.
Yeah, but the Nightbringer is D6 plus 2 damage as well.
He
wins
on
AP
3s.
Yeah, but it's AP 4, so every wound is a dev wound. And he has one extra.
The Void Dragon not as high AP?
No, it's AP 3. And he's got one less attack. And the Nightbringer's got D3 shots with D6 plus 3 damage, whereas the Void Dragon has literally one shot that always misses, and it's a 12 range.
The guy had 3 big knights, 4 small.
Oh dear.
He went 5-0 in that. So unfortunate, but
I mean, there's still a lot of good stuff there.
Plasmancer. He's got double immortals with Gauss.
20 Gauss is a choice, and look,
he's got the 6 Locust Destroyers, the best unit in the detachment.
But the thing is, he's only got 1 Locust Lord. Oh no, he's got 2. Sorry, I will take that back. He has 2 Locust Lords. He's still a maniac for playing the worst unit in the game. I would rather have an Obelisk than that blob, honestly. 108 was it? I assume that the Veil of Darkness would have been on
the other ones. It's 260, so it's like 40 points somewhere. So that's a Scarab Swarm. You just get a fucking Obelisk in.
Yeah, it's gonna do more. It's gonna survive more. I mean, I suppose there is an argument that you'd put the Veil with the Locust Destroyers, but then imagine trying to fit that footprint anywhere on the table.
I can imagine that wouldn't be so bad into the Knights.
The Knights, sure, because they've only got 7 models, but anybody else.
And yet, that was the only time it didn't.
Yeah.
Maybe his opponent cheated, but who knows? Maybe all Knights players are good.
Well, Knights are pretty good at the moment, to be fair.
They are quite good. Just have to make them like disgustingly cheap and.
But yeah, I imagine what happened in that game is the Void Dragon kind of killed some stuff, and then just got slapped by Canis.
Yeah, pretty much. Canis will just make that disappear.
Canis wasn't in there, but one of those big knights will have something that deals with it straight away.
Oh,
probably. Yeah.
All right, well, that's the end of our normal list. We've just got your list.
Have we got my list? Yes, we do. So this is what I took to Sheffield. This is the resubmission.
Yeah.
Because when I submitted my list, I've started using New Recruit instead of Battlescribe. And I found the button that says short when it describes the units. I just thought, that looks nice and neat. So I submitted that. Little did I know it didn't include my detachment or any of the weapon options on any of my units. So I noticed it. I reported myself, got it fixed, but it also missed my really cool name. On the off chance that I managed to win the tournament and defend my Sheffield crown, I thought it would be cool to have a cool name, but alas, such is life.
Yeah, it's a very good name there, Chef AD.
Yeah, that was just what it was saved as. I know, boring, right? But yeah, so my list deviates from yours and Danny's in that I went for an Immortal Chronomancer package just to go with Imhotep. Rather than just spending 100 points for Imhotep sit on the side, I wanted him to actually get involved in the fight considerably more because he's one of our better shooting characters when it comes to like the little infantry ones. The Flamer and the Staff, especially with Immortals, rerolling his wounds is actually quite good. So I went for that. It was a bit of like anti-orcs tech in that the Omnitics, they're better at killing them, but then they're just kind of there and then they die. Whereas at least with these guys, in theory, you can run out, shoot, and then run back behind terrain, and they can't interact with that very well. Because if you can get back an inch behind, they can never melee you, and they're not quick enough realistically to get round the terrain to shoot into you. So I thought I could have 2, 3, 4 activations of those. And then, in melee, the Immortals have actually got 2 attacks with the strat at 5-on-1 is not bad, hitting on 2s. And then rerolling wounds they're pretty good brawlers. So the theory was solid, but I never played against orcs.
And let's see what you did play. Checks notes, 2 up armor saves, 2 up armor save tanks, 2 up armor saves.
Yeah, it wasn't ideal, I'm not going to lie. Because of the way that we play the warriors, keeping the characters hidden, the fact that they have AP1 is just basically irrelevant because they always get in cover. And the Immortals exactly the same. Like, there's no point me keeping them with Serras because they're going to get cover anyway because my characters might not necessarily be there because of, they just need one little guy not to be seen and then suddenly it's all gone. And 2 up armor saves was savage. I was so sad. If I'd taken my hyperlift and played the same people, then I would have felt much better. But, we pay for our crimes. The Warriors were so good this tournament. They were, apart from breaking my back from having to move them every turn. And
yeah, it is a bit of a mind fuck. You have to get into a rhythm, I find, with playing the Warriors.
Carrying so much luggage, I'd be okay with it. But I made a last-minute change where I decided to take a squad of Scorpet Destroyers instead of another one each of the locusts that I've got there. I like the single locust with the Gauss for the reasons I keep mentioning basically every week. But I also wanted a little bit of melee punch for counter charging because I looked at it and thought, well, if somebody does charge me with something and I want to have a heroic or, hit them back afterwards, I might be lacking a little bit. So I just took them and they were actually pretty good. To be fair, they did some work in quite a few games.
I do love Scorpeths.
I would love to have more in, but I wanted to try the Immortal package. And
just get rid of one of them DDAs. That's all you need.
Yeah, one of the DDAs goes 170 more points, and then I've got 30, which is, you just muddle the trash around, maybe get rid of the Locust Destroyer, put more flayed ones in or something. But this was all right. Like, I didn't ever feel out of the game in any games. I mean, I suppose this is a good time to actually talk about the tournament as a whole.
Yeah.
So my round 1, which was on sweeping engagements against World Eaters, and yeah, I was crying because it's World Eaters, so they can just charge you turn 1 on that deployment more often than not. But
yeah, it's like the worst deployment to play World Eaters on.
or any fast, aggressive
Yeah.
turn 1 combat army. But he didn't have Angron, which was nice, and he well, I thought he had a squad of 10 berserkers, which when paired with Khan, I was of the opinion that could one shot my warriors. So I had to be a little bit careful. So in my head, in my preparation, I was thinking how I would deploy and how I would wait for him to put that unit down, and maybe I could put my warriors down in a different spot just so they could get into the game and he'd have to move. But as it was, he didn't. He put Khan with 5 berserkers and massive executions with the 10 squad, and that made me feel a lot better.
Yeah, that is a big mistake, I think, by him.
I basically just deployed my flayed ones 9 inches from his deployment zone, where Ivicatus was. There was never a point where I was going to use them for anything else. I just wanted to block that initial scout move, and then I actually went first, so I just advanced forwards and blocked his passage.
So handy going first against World Eaters.
Yeah, and yeah, it was a good game. You know, we traded some pieces, but the Warriors just took over the game to the point where he charged. At one point, he charged at least 4 or 5 units into them. Exalted, 8 bound, some berserks, and his what's it called? The Demon Prince. But after the first activation, half his units couldn't fight because I just pulled out of combat, and it was just like he just sat there, and then I just basically mopped everything up.
Yeah, nice.
So I didn't quite get 100 points on this one, which did kind of annoy me. Secondaries let me down. I basically maxed my primary every single turn. So max primaries, but I couldn't score secondaries easy during the game, so I just got 34 on that one, which was fine. You know, it was okay. But then I played against a Grey Knights army with 2 up save everywhere. Enough characters that could
What was the mission?
Oh crap!
Purge.
It's round 2, yeah. So it's on Purge, and everything had a 2-up save, and the game was quite mad. The start wasn't very helpful because when we got to our table, the previous player on the table has basically just dumped everything and left, like he'd been beamed up from playing into somewhere, and so
he went into the Shadow Realm after losing. Well, he didn't lose.
He did win the entire tournament,
yes.
but yeah, so I didn't want to just dump all of his models in one big pile because I don't want to break someone else's models. But it was hard to try and set up the table while it was all there. So bad boy. But yeah, I lost this game because we basically both timed out. It was a very close game throughout. The warrior blob got shot to crap turn 1 because he went second, obviously playing against Grey Knights on Purge, and he went second. He just picked up his Castellan blob and unleashed Unholy Hell into the warriors. They managed to survive. I think it was 2 models I had left.
Wow.
And then reanimate, and they all just came back, and they then basically took over the game and kept me in it. I was scoring hold more every turn, but I was struggling to get kill more because the cover was an issue, and I pushed Sarah's out a bit too early, and I lost, and he died and then came back and then died again. So I made a couple of mistakes in the game, so I didn't get that extra AP, but just trying to finish off the units was the problem because, I'm just like, put this whole unit in. The DDAs didn't really do much. I lost 1 to some Dread Knights, as you'd expect, and then towards the end of the game, it was just a case of denying primary, and he basically was getting kill more for the first 3 turns because he got a kill on turn 1 because I couldn't get a kill. I went first, couldn't see anything, and then he just picked up the Dread Knights and got a kill. So it was pretty rough, and then towards the end of the game, we just had to draw cards, and he managed to get cards that let him score. So I think if we'd had the time to finish off, I could have got 11 more points, and then maybe killed enough to stop him from getting them. So either way, if we'd had another probably half an hour to play the game out, it would have been still close. But
so just as a rule of thumb for anyone that's newer to tournaments,
play on
don't
what?
leave, or anyone ever, don't leave your models like lay on the table like after you finish your game. Pack them up. Like it's not difficult. It's quite inconsiderate, I feel, to just leave all your stuff lying around when like at least in a tray. It should be at least be in a tray so the person that comes to your table next can pick it up. And that game was also after lunch as well. So this guy's finished his game
Yeah,
and then like gone for lunch and then come back and it's just left it the entire. He's had the entire time to do it. So
yeah.
it's just a bit of like respect for the people around you. So just make sure you clean up your stuff. So just if you're newer to tournaments, just when you finish your game, just make sure you tidy your table up.
He did say sorry, but like
Yeah,
it just delayed. It delayed our start a little bit, and that actually ended up mattering.
yeah, it just ended up affecting your game. Like that's the problem. Is like you just shouldn't. It it's
And
just quick. It's just quick and easy to do. Just like you've done it.
yeah,
Tie up, you finish your game. Tie up your models while you chat to your opponent about the game.
and
It's fine.
my opponent made the round of 4 as well, so he did really well afterwards.
Yeah,
So I'm not annoyed in the slightest.
no, it's fair. I'm not like bollocking the guy, but it's just kind of
No, I mean my opponent, like the guy who left his models, who won.
oh
He
yeah
see.
yeah.
Imagine if I was a really nasty person, I could have hidden like one model from each
One
unit.
guardsman, like it would have mattered.
One guardsman from every unit. One little tank, just like, oops, this guy's just. Oh,
They're busy playing with like 200 points more anyway.
that's true. But
Bloody
so,
god.
like, if I was playing my hypercrypt list, then I would have felt very confident in that matchup.
Especially on Purge.
Especially in Purge.
Purge is so volatile. Like it's such a swingy game. It can either be really razor close because you're both scoring so
Yeah,
much or so little, or it can just be one person just gets a massive swing and they
yeah,
can always like lead the game. At least with Awakened, if you go first, you have counterplay because you can get hold more.
mm.
Quite easily.
There was a world where if we didn't have to start rushing towards the end, that we could have ended up with a 100-100 draw because if my decisions were a little cleaner and I could have cycled cards with more time, that we could have both maxed primary and secondaries in the same game, and I've never had a draw or anywhere close to like a 100-100 result. So, yeah, it was a disappointing loss though. I wasn't overly happy. I'm normally okay when I lose, and this one just irked me a little bit. Just with the
Well, yeah.
way it
Coming to
turned.
time is kind of like it is. It just feels like you've been like robbed a little bit. It's a bit stressful, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
and the thing was is from turn 1 we were activating basically every part of our army the whole game.
Yeah, you're already down on time because of the beginning, and then you're playing 5 full turns of constant shooting,
And melee.
healing, rezzing,
Yeah,
melee. Like you're completely active. I've played games where they've been over in an hour because it's so like you're so cautious of each other. Like the first person that goes out, and then you just play one turn where somebody just dies, and then that's it. That's the end of the
yeah,
game.
yeah.
It's just that it can just be the other side of it, and
Mm.
unfortunately when you're playing such a tight game. I've never gone to time before, but I've had it close where you just feel like you it's going to be one of those games,
Yeah,
and you're like, oh my god, like, and I sometimes if I'm in that situation, if you feel like it's going a bit slow and you've not put a clock on, then you should just say like, okay, I'm going to put a clock on. Like I'm going to do it after you've both had a turn equally, and then just be like, I'm going to put the clock, split the time. Let's just do
yeah.
it now, early on.
That was the plan, but then we just got bogged down in the game, and then
Yeah.
the judge came over towards the end, like they do, and they go, do you guys think you're going to finish? And my opponent, I think, said yes, and I was like, no. So he
Not
put us on a
again.
clock and just split the time. He's like, look,
I
I don't
think
know
we're going
what
to finish,
happened.
but let me shoot some warriors some
Yeah,
more.
and then so then I also like, well, I have to charge these warriors to stop him from being able to do stuff with this character, but then I have to make my attacks because you have to in melee, even though I know these guys aren't going to do any damage because he's got a 2-up save and I've got like 1 attack each. It's like, oh my. But yeah, so there's certainly things I could have done differently in that game as well. But the game was going to be close no matter what. And
Yeah, you're both good players.
in
So.
the end, it just turned out he could draw a secondary card and score it without being able to do any actions. And mine was like, I think I had a overwhelming force, and he had 2 little guys on
Yeah,
objectives that I
it
could have.
fucking happens.
Yeah, so all right.
So what was your game 3?
So game 3 was against Guard with Holy Tanks, basically indirect Rogal Dawns. I spent, I think, 3 turns trying to shoot the same Rogal Dawn with both my DDAs, and it still didn't die. I just felt like originally my plan was just to table my opponent. He was kind of new to tournament play. The game was a little bit slow, and I thought, well, I'll table him. But then after shooting and doing nothing, I had to change my game plan. But in the end, I did end up actually tabling him on turn 4.
Mm-hmm.
The indirects, he had a lot of different indirects. So he had like 1 Wyvern, 1 Basilisk, and 1 Manticore. And they've each got individual abilities. So at one point, I think my warrior squad was -2 to move, advanced charge, -1 to hit, and then I can't remember what the other one was, but he had like these 3 abilities that all just stack, and you just look at it and go, well, my unit does nothing now. But then there were moments where he'd roll his hits and they just all miss because he'd be hitting on 5s because of the stealth enhancement. And I managed to kill his tank commanders relatively early, so he wasn't getting the order for +1. So he was taking the penalty for the indirect and the stealth as well. So essentially he was hitting on 5s and he just kept missing. So
nice.
So yes, that's karma for taking indirect, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But the Warriors,
won.
The Warriors just sat there the entire game and just held every objective.
Guard do struggle.
It was on hidden supplies and taking holds, and I think if there was no cap, I was on 25 primary from turn 3 onwards every turn. So I would have got like 100 primary or more that game, but it was capped at 50. Yeah, it was. If I was playing my Hypercrypt Lift, I would have been annoyed because that would have been a tough matchup to get through because I just didn't, because of all the hulls. It was, but the Scorpec just like chewed through stuff and
nice.
Yeah, so, and he couldn't really kill anything either. So
round 4, you had Eldari.
Round 4 against Eldari, and I spent the entirety of the evening and the morning convinced that he had this 6 blob of bikes that could kill my warriors in one shot. So I had to play really cagey. But then I was wondering about some of the moves that he made, and we had a long discussion after the game because I've played my opponent before when he was on GSC.
Mark Pilkington.
Yeah, I played him at Nottingham, and he beat me. And I played really cagey in that game. And I said, right, and I know he's a bit of a cagey player. You know, he doesn't want to just rush stuff out and lose things. He wants to play all 5 turns with his army. So I just thought, right, I'm not going to let myself get into that same situation where I play cagey. I'm going to initiate the trades a bit more so that later on the amount of tricks he can do with his army reduces because he doesn't have as many options, and I can play around them better. But like mid-turn 3, I'm just looking at the board going, I've done exactly the same thing again. I'm just being like really cagey. He didn't think he could kill my warrior blob, so he never even tried. And yeah, I just started picking them apart. His fire dragons obviously killed my DDA. I just went pop, and I made a couple of mistakes. They are a tricky army. There wasn't any gotchas. You know, we were both up front with everything that we could do. I just killed something turn 1, and he moved some banshees to steal my objective so he could score primary and then secure. I was like, well, should have seen that coming. But
in my experience against playing Ynnari, the main things to look out for when playing against Ynnari is like, because obviously you know it can all move, and it can move with +2 move if it's got tokens.
Yeah.
You go, can they take primary off me? Can they stop me scoring my cards? So like area denial, etc. Like, can I stop them from doing it? And then sometimes a less of a rare one is, can they move? So then next turn they can move again and then get in range of me or see me or something. They're like the 3 main things I think to think about.
Yeah. I was focused on another part of the battlefield. I was so focused on
sometimes it happens.
His flank. I was like, I didn't even look. To be fair, they were behind a wall. I didn't see them. I knew they were there because he moved them.
You just forget about them.
It just you know, a momentary moment of blindness, and I was kind of beating myself up a little bit after that. I'm like, that was a rookie move. I didn't have to. I could have put more OC on the point.
Yeah, that's like
but it was howling. It was howling banshees. That's the problem. So they had fights first with the character, so I couldn't even charge them afterwards. You know, because they just killed me. So
charge with the warriors if you could.
Yeah, but the warriors were playing cagey and weren't in a position to do that because I was scared of his bikes. Because I was thinking, well, he could leaf intent his bikes. he could then move them up so they'd be the closest to get the rerolls, and then he could like zip 2 squads of warp spiders behind. So then, the bikes don't kill the whole squad, but they kill a lot. Then I reanimate, but then the warp spiders can just see the characters, so I can never stop him from shooting me. And then they might be able to, and the Howling Banshees could then push forwards and finish me off and stuff. So I had to be careful, and that just wasn't ever going to happen. So if I play it again, I play it a lot more aggressively, and I think
that's what I do against Yunari. You can just play like that unit it's scary, especially if they attach the Warlock Skyrunner. If they don't attach the Warlock Skyrunner, then it's not as scary because the Warlock Skyrunner just gives them ignores cover. But if it's not ignores cover,
as he said, he's got the strat for it, but it is extra attack.
Yeah.
Well, which is what I factored in when I was thinking about the Warrior Blob potentially.
It's lethal and ignore cover. Is that right or something? Or is it just like I can't remember what it is. He does have something that along those lines.
Yeah, and sustained as well, I think.
They have the sustained normally, and then they're AP1.
Yeah, so it's lethal sustained.
And then it should be lethal sustained with like 4 rolls to hit if you're the closest. It does decent amount, but doesn't like one shot you. But once that's like spent, then it's gone.
Yeah, but how I deployed, I could threaten his flank objective with my Scorpet Lord to feel no pain. So he had to use his Warlock Skyrunner as like OC to put it on the point to counter the fact that I had 2, because he only wanted to put 1 on with his Banshees on that side, which meant I could then actually take it off him if I got like secure, which I did turn 1. But he put the Skyrunner instead because that would counter up my Lord, so I couldn't take it off him for Storm or something like that. Which I also learned you can actually score turn 1 now.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can choose to. You can score at turn 1, and you can still choose to shuffle it back in if you don't want to.
Yeah. So we both went into the match thinking the same thing, like bugger. But yeah, we had a good game, and it came out in my favor this time, which was nice. Like it's a tough army to play against, but if you can mitigate their tricks, and like the Warriors are really difficult for them to deal with. Again, it's just they don't have that unit that kills them quick enough. So yeah, towards the end, I was using that. The Warriors had 2 objectives. The Immortals were threatening the other one, and I still had other things knocking around. So and this was round 4, and I still hadn't used my Veil of Darkness once. The threat was there. They had to screen the whole game. Threat. And then I was just thinking, do I veil every single turn? No.
Veil's much more threatening than 3 Ophydians, I tell you.
Yes, it is. So 3-1.
3-1. What's your final round?
Just another 2 up armor save.
Nice.
30s and Lions, and it was my first game against Lions as well. I've not had time to practice against 30s. And they do a lot of damage. They really do. But
why do they do a lot of damage?
Because they get +1 to hit and wound if they're 6 inches away from anything else in their army.
Nice.
Which
that is really good.
Hits on 2s and is really strong. And then when they're getting in melee, they don't need any more buffs in melee, but they'll take them as well. And half the army has lance, so sometimes they don't care about whether they're within 6 or not. But then and they've got like the captain with the lone up who can just move 12 inches.
So he's got guard, double wardens, grav tank, terminators, terminator captain, bike captain, double blade champ, 3 sister squads.
Yeah,
and then 2 bikes.
So I went in. My opponent is someone who's been to. I think he went to Manchester and went 4-1 as well. So he's been. He's a solid player. Knows how to play in tournaments, knows how to play in the last round to try and, get a good result. And I came in with a specific game plan, and within, I think, 2 minutes of the game starting, I had to change my game plan completely.
What happened? What was the game plan?
Well, the game plan was, lure out his units and have my DDAs go ham. And keep them safe, not have them die. And they could, because once they feel no pain on the ones is gone, they pick up ones quite nicely. I can tarp them down with the Warriors and then just fall back, shoot them with the DDAs, and then charge them again just to stop them from getting movement. And so that was the plan. The plan didn't go to plan. But we're going to make a video, I think, on this particular game because
yes, I was going to say that
everything's 2-up save, and I have no AP very quickly into the game. So yeah, it was an interesting one. So
once those DDAs start dropping, you struggle to get rid of them.
yeah, and I also lost Sarah's and my Feel No Pain Lord by very early as well. So why not? So I made life very difficult for myself.
Yeah, so let me hard mode this bitch.
But I also played it.
This looks like a good matchup. Let me change that. Actually, let me get rid of all my flat 3 and 4 damage stuff.
I don't know if it is a good matchup. Like, he does struggle to deal with the warriors, but then he does have enough activations.
Do they still have sustained?
They can choose sustained or lethals.
Do they still get it on 5s, or is that only with shields?
And that's just shields.
Okay.
But getting +1 to wounds is still pretty good.
Yeah.
Because they're strength 7, so normally they wound the warriors on 3s, but instead they wound them on 2s, which is a big difference.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I managed to win that one. I still had quite a lot left alive at the end. In terms of actual models on the table, like it was mainly the big stuff that all died. I can report throughout the entire tournament that Awakened was utterly garbage in melee. Utterly, he went Super Saiyan.
Bad, though. He was bad for you.
Yeah, it's bad for me. I think he went Super Saiyan into one of the squads of the Custodian Guard. I got 4 wounds through. I killed a model and did a wound.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. I rolled a 1. I rolled a 2. And then I rolled a 3. That killed the 4 wound guy. And then I rolled a 1 again. And that was the best that he did the entire event. 6 attacks at 12-3 D3 and it's all dev wounds sounds really good until you roll the wounds and it doesn't do anything, or you roll a couple of 1s, or they have a Feel No Pain. So I never relied on him to do any serious damage, which was fine. You want him to get you out of a pickle once every now and then. The dream of doing 18 mortal wounds just so like a tank or something is fantastic, but it never comes up. And I prefer him. That's why I prefer him with Immortals than Warriors overall, because of that reroll wounds is so nice on that one go-to. But yeah, so I finished 4-1. I came 10th. I got best in faction Xenos because Danny, who was ahead of me in the rankings, made the top 8 cut, so he didn't get that award, but.
I didn't go because I was busy. I've been having a bit of a hiatus just because I'm getting a bit burnt out. So I was just having a bit of a rest.
You've been playing a lot of games.
I have been still playing games, but I've not been going to many tournaments. I went out drinking in my hometown, so it was good fun. So but I'll be back. I'm doing Home Nations, as I said. I'm still trying to think about what I want to play. I've been building and watching and dreaming of playing Emperor Children so much. As I'm still a Necron at heart, but Emperor Children were my first favorite army that I'd ever played. That I ever brought to competitive tournaments, and then I played like Necrons. I brought Necrons afterwards, and I was like, Emperor Children are rubbish in 10th. I can't play. I don't want to buy any more models because they'll just get deleted. I was so scared that they were just going to delete like all of the models that I'd buy. So I did buy some and still got deleted. So, but I'm going to be playing some more. I've got an RTT this weekend actually. Holy moly, I forgot about that. That's the one I just mentioned before. I've got an RTT this weekend, and I'm taking that thing. Yes, I'm taking that.
Yeah, and
probably going to take 15 Scorpius.
Think you're going to
win? Probably, maybe. I'd give it my best shot.
Mm-hmm.
That's. I just don't know if I want to just take your list or if I just want to take 15 Scorpius. But
my list felt good. There was the best 4 units were the ones that were
weren't enough. Yeah,
but
I just want to take more. I want to take more Annihilation for my Legion.
Yes, the problem is for my tournament specifically was there was no point taking more just Scorpex because there was nowhere to hide them. Like I even struggled to hide the Lord +3.
I'll be playing UKTC, anyway,
so
I
probably take 1 6 squad. Take 12.
Yeah,
Take
12 or 15.
And there's also good in UKTC. There's also good spots for 2 or 3 squads of flame ones as well. Whereas on the GW terrain, there's not
We
great.
have 2 squads because that's all I've got ready. 2
Uh,
squads of 5. I do have 30, but I just only have 10 painted.
I have 20 painted now. I painted some in advance just in case I ended up playing more, but I didn't.
Yeah, I've got so many. I do love them a lot. The destroyer section of it is my favorite bit, but it's just that they're terrible.
It would be nice if we had like a fast moving melee shooty destroyer with an invul. That would be nice.
Just if we had advance and charge.
Oh well, yeah.
If we had that.
Every round I got asked, do we have advance and charge on anything? And
I feel like I'm on crack cocaine playing Emperor's Children. I'm like, yes, I can advance and charge. I can fall back and charge. I can fall back and shoot. I can advance and shoot. Not like everything all at once on the same thing, but I can do that. Like it is possible.
You can do it at any place on the map.
Yeah, I can exist everywhere and do everything. It's just I have to then swap targets for each one. It's so good being that quick, moving your unit 20 inches across the board and charging.
Fair enough.
Yeah, very fun. Necrons, you kind of just like, yeah, I'm here staging. Oh, my threat range is 20, chilling.
Maybe not even that sometimes.
Yeah, for Scorpeths. That's all I say. Yeah. So we're going to be doing another video. I don't know how soon, but we're going to, as I said, we're going to talk about Andy's tournament game run through. We'll do like a bit of a thing. I've recently taken on a client for the first proper client. I've had a friend client and now an actual human being that's approached me, and the game that we're going to analyze together is basically how we're going to do it. If it was like a client coaching analyze, so it's very cool. And again, if you want anything from Andy or myself, just message one of us on Discord or just ask in the comments, and then we'll send you our Discord or whatever. We don't have a server or anything. I'm going to be setting up very soon, today or tomorrow, a Patreon to get started, and we're going to be doing more stuff for that, because now that the Team England thing's like cooling down a bit more, hopefully for myself, I'm going to be putting a bit more time and effort into this, try and get it off. So we'll be doing every video that somebody suggested. We will be doing in some form.
Yeah.
For some things that we can't cover in a full length video, it's going to be more. It's going to be like a short or something, because you can do a couple minutes, I think, on them. So stuff like the vault placement, I know somebody's been asking for, and how to play that. That's not really something we can go on and talk about for 30 minutes. It's more like a 5-minute thing. Like this is what I look for when I'm playing a vault, and then it's like, touch. Does this terrain have a lip on it? I'm going to touch and see through it.
There were 2 vaults. You could probably talk about it for twice as long, right?
Boom. 3, you could treble it.
Well, 3. The third one is waiting to be built. So yeah,
3 would be like, where can I fit this in my deployment zone?
Yes, absolutely. There are some deployments where you probably can't
fit it all. Yeah. So we will be doing it all. Don't worry, it is happening. We're just slow and steady win the race.
Yeah, we'd rather go to tournaments and play and meet people.
Yeah,
than...
we think that playing at these tournaments and sharing our experiences and just chin wagging is better to take information on, because that's what I enjoy. As content that I enjoy listening to the most is people talking about tournaments. Like I always watch Mohawk Miniatures, Jay. He always talks about his tournaments, and I just find it dead interesting to hear how people think when they play, and that's what we will be doing. When I go back to tournaments more, we will be doing that, and we're going to be doing solo videos.
Yeah, and games where we play each other as well.
Yes, and we are going to be playing a game each other. We will be doing that. Hopefully this week. I did ask for a practice game because I'm playing against somebody from Denmark for a scrim on Friday, so I need a practice run through, and then I'll release the game afterwards, just in case he's an avid listener of the channel. But
there may be a language barrier, but I mean, who better?
He speaks English. They have to speak English to play at WTC.
That's true. We are lucky. We are lucky in that respect that we speak English as well.
Yes, yeah. Playing against the French lad, he was like, "Oh, I've really bad English. I'm sorry, you might not be able to understand me." I was like, "You've never spoken to some people in England,
someone from Newcastle, or
just one of the hardest ones to understand, or just really deep in Scotland." He's like, "You can understand. French is fine."
Yes.
It's fine. I don't mind.
Or Innes, because he speaks so fast that by the time you've worked out what he said in the previous sentence, he's already on the next one.
There's a little life hack is if you ever watching one of his solo videos, put it at 0.75 speed, and you're like, boom, that is perfect.
Yeah.
He just loves to get his words out. That's how it
Well,
is.
he's got a lot of
He's a
valid
good
stuff
lad.
to say.
Yeah, he's a good lad. As I said, we're going to a tournament together in May, so I'll be talking about all my experience there. And that's next month, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Very soon.
Yeah,
in Germany.
It's 2 months. It's not 2. It's like 3 weeks, 7 weeks away. Sorry, so it's pretty damn close, and that will be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing that. But I don't know if there's anything else we've got to talk about today. Do you think there is anything?
No. I think we've covered pretty much everything we need to cover this particular week.
Yeah, man.
We've taken up enough people's time, I'm sure.
Yeah, we're going to be, as I said, it's not. We would rather do videos like longer between the podcast, because we've got like stuff to actually talk about, because we didn't want it just to be like, yeah, these are the lists that didn't do well, but they're there, and these are and they're the same list over and over again, and we've not gone through any tournaments, or we've not been practicing anything. There's nothing interesting to talk about.
If anyone does see any interesting lists that we don't necessarily see, maybe because they haven't gone 4-1 or better, then just let us know, because looking at weird and interesting lists, even if they're really, really bizarre, is actually something that we will talk about, because
we like just the thought process of why you've chosen it
and how you've put it together.
Yeah,
as long as it's not a list you own.
Yeah, we're just two guys that like play our style of lists, but certain people like the triple psychomancer play their style, and that's completely fine. It's how you like to win, and you can win with it. You like it. I've not tried everything, so it's cool. I've tried Ophydians though; they can fucking
go
put in the bin, and then like
along with the Locust Destroyer 6 Bob, that can
yeah, and that's Andy's bin nomination.
A special place in hell for them.
Yeah. So, and we're hopefully, I think I'd like to get some people on. Like Danny, I think would be cool to get on. Some other like Necron, your friend Josh. Like get them on and we'll chat as like for a podcast or a section of it or whatever, and do like tell us why you chose what you chose and so on, because it'd be good to hear from other people that aren't just us.
He doesn't deserve to be on there at the moment because he's been playing Orcs.
Oh, Josh, yeah. And Danny's a fake Necron player, as I keep calling him, because he didn't know what FO stood for for flayed ones. But obviously, I'm only teasing him. So well, that's probably about it then. We'll
so
enjoy it. Thank you for watching, everyone. Like, comment, subscribe, all that cool stuff that people tell you to do. And we're trying to hit 500 subscribers so we can get money. And
that's not the reason we're trying to get 500 subscribers. We're trying to do that so we can enlighten Necron players around the world, right? Surely that's the reason.
Money. Yes, we're trying to enlighten you all. So
fund us to go to LVO. That's
fund. Go fund me. Well, all right. Thank you for watching, everyone. Ta-ra.